Let's do another randomly generated mug. Welcome to series 2. All right, let's choose a pattern. 6. 6 is small polka dots, and we need a D6. 2. We are going with white.
Alright, they are in there somewhere, I promise.
All right, what is our first subject? 6. We're going to the bits and pieces box, apparently.
You were reaching for this box early this time, but I'm here for it.
All right, and what is the next one? 11. Hearts. Okay, all right. What kind of hearts? So for hearts, we have forgotten to put them on the list. Great.
Alright, so black hearts, white polka dots. What should we go with?
Maybe. You know how some people peak in high school? I think I have peaked on Mug 1 of Series 2 because this is the best thing I've ever made. I love this mug so much. This is the perfect level of cute and stupid, and I'm generally trying to live my life cute and stupid, so I'm very, very, very happy with how this turned out. Like, I was so excited about this video that I posted it on my personal Facebook before I even edited this video. Like, it needed to be seen before it was posted on here. I'm gonna make myself one of these. I will not keep this one for myself. I will make myself one of these so that someone has the chance to get this because it's perfect. Oh, this is the cutest thing I've ever made. Let's do another randomly generated mug. A few people have asked to see detailed shots of my lists, so here those are for you. Feel free to screenshot them. And if you're confused about what anything means, let me know. Alrighty. 2 is lace, and are we going to go with the, where'd you go, lace? The black or the white? We are going with the black. Alright, what's our subject? 12 snakes. And for snakes, which one of those are we gonna use? Rolling a d6. 2. We're going with the white snakes. What else? 15. Sea life. Okay.
I've expanded the sea life box quite a bit.
I spent an exceptionally long time getting this mermaid and this snake lined up just right. I don't know, I wanted her hand to be like resting on it. I think I successfully did that. I'm happy with how these two ended up interacting and working out. This mug overall is fine. I am not losing my mind over it by any means, but it is hard to follow up the perfection that was my first mug with this one, I think is the main issue that I have. But I like the combination of stuff. I use the lace as like almost a seaweed kind of feeling, corals kind of thing. And I think it looks pretty nice. There's nothing particularly wrong with this mug. It's just that the first one was perfect, and nothing is ever gonna line up with that in my brain. It's randomly generated mug time. Also, I made this teeny tiny little bowl, and it perfectly fits my giant D20. All right, let's roll for a pattern. 3, animal print. Okay, which one? One pink cheetah.
There we go.
And what's our first subject? 4. Ooh, we're going for bugs. Okay. 6, we're going for flies. Okay.
Flies are in the bug box.
What are we doing for a second one? 3. Also, look at how pretty this is. I love it so much. Anyway, 3 is moons. Also, we have options for moons now, so let's see which one we're doing. We are going for the Elan Transfers ones. When I was thinking of ideas for this one, my brain went back to this picture of an eyeball with someone's hands like peeling the eyelids away and like coming out of the eyeball. Weird image, but that's what I thought of, and I was like, ooh, I can do an eye with the moon, and I can make the flies like coming out of the eye. And then I couldn't figure out a way to make the eye as realistic as my brain wanted it to, so instead I went with this really stylized eye design, which I ended up really liking. I'm very happy with how this turned out. But I didn't really want to do the flies on the eye because I didn't want to detract from the moon being the eye part, and so I just went with flies all around, just kind of, I don't know, I feel like it adds a little something, and I quite frankly didn't know how else to use them. But I actually really like how this mug design came out. I did come back around and fill in the eye with black, just because I felt like it needed to be there. There was going to be too much open tan space, and I actually really love how the black looks. It feels like the eye is like space or something. I think I want to try this idea again on just a regular mug and do like stars in the eye. But yeah, I like this one. I'm happy. Let's do another randomly generated mug. What is the pattern of the day? 4. Ooh, honeycomb. And are we doing black or yellow? We are doing black. And what subject? 14 skulls. Okay. Now what kind of skulls is the next question? 2. Black. Simple. And what else? 18. Plants. This seems fitting. Please be a flower. Black daisies. Black on black on black. Alrighty. They are back here. When I was working on this one, or at least starting to work on it, I definitely recognized, at least to me, that there wasn't going to be enough color. And I hadn't painted underglaze onto transfers yet, so I wanted to try that with this. It did end up working pretty well. It definitely took some trial and error, but I do really like how all of these daisies turned out. They're nice and bright yellow, very nice. But yeah, and then it's all pretty straightforward from there. I did honeycomb, which I had to cut out those honeycombs specifically for this mug so that there was no overlap on the edges so that everything would lay properly. But anyway, I really wanted to put bees on this, but the rules say no, but I feel like, it could use bees. Anyway, spooky and daisies and stuff. Let's make a new randomly generated mug. What's our pattern today? 1, stripes. But what color? I wanted light blue so bad. Yes! Ow! This is a new color, and I'm so excited. I'm Oh, I'm so excited. All right, what's our subject? 10 is food. All right, what kind of food? I missed 1, candy. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for a more colorful one, but that's okay. What else is going with it? 16, mushrooms. But what kind? What kind? Where? What kind? Hey, what kind? Okay. 4, we are going with the realistic Elon transfers. Nope, that one. Okay.
This one is incredibly straightforward. I took the candy, and I took the mushrooms, and I made mushrooms made out of candy. And I put it on a striped background. I did not get super duper creative with this one, but I did end up really, really liking it. I don't know, something whimsical about it. Like Willy Wonka meets Alice in Wonderland or something. I'm quite happy. I really don't know what to say other than that. Normally I can ramble on for longer about why I did what I did, but this is all really straightforward. I really hope this blue turns out nice and bright the way that I think it will. But here, look at all these satisfying peels. Ah, I love it. What do you guys think? I think it's cute.
Yes, this is makeup from yesterday, but have a randomly generated look. All right, what is our pattern? 3, animal print again, but what kind? Let's see. 4, zebra print. All right, our subject. 10, food. Again, already. Yes. 4, strawberries. Yes, not candy.
Strawberries are in there between watermelon and ice cream.
Okay, what is going with our strawberries? 14, skulls. How do skulls come up so often? What kind of skulls? 1. Ooh, white ones. I can work with that.
There they are.
So the idea for this one, in my head, was strawberries, but with skull faces, skullberries. And my brain thought it was super cute. And what's annoying is I tested this idea before I committed to making the whole mug this way, and the test worked. So I don't know why the universe gave me the middle finger, but it did after I did all of this work. So that was super cool. And then I gave up completely, like aggressively. But at this point, you can see me testing whether or not black would work, because I was like, if black works, I'm running with this idea. And I was very happy to see that black worked. But anyway, scraped all this off, started over quite literally the next day. Like, I was done for the day after this. And I did spend that time overnight contemplating whether or not I was going to break the rules and switch to black skulls, or I was going to come up with a new design using white skulls. And the issue that I had was I was hell-bent on making this design happen whether or not I broke my own rules or not. So I did it with black skulls instead. Don't Don't argue with me about it. It's my game. I will make up the rules if I want to. You're just gonna have to deal with that. But ultimately, I really dislike this stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it. They just look like they're wearing aviators. Damn it. Let's do another randomly generated mug. What is our pattern of the day? 5. Ooh, plaid. We have 3 kinds of plaid. And we are going with pastel. First subject, 11 hearts. Okay, what kind of hearts? The one number I don't have. Does that just mean pick it myself? We're going with me, that means I get to pick what I want, in which case we're doing the black ones from Elon Transfers. And what's our second one? 12. Snakes. Come on, magical snakes. People keep talking about how they want it. Ooh, magical snakes. Yes. By the way, I did not come up with the name Magic Snakes. That was that was the company I buy these from. But this is what they look like. They're pretty cool. I like them a lot. Yeah. So this design makes me think of like these magical snakes having a picnic in the springtime or something. I don't know. I think it's I like it. I think it's cute. I like that you can see the plaid through the designs on the snakes. And then I spent way too long cutting out these tiny little hearts and positioning them on the plaid so they became part of the plaid pattern. Took quite a while. I had to cut out more hearts because I didn't cut out enough originally. But I think this mug is super sweet and it's just cute, you know? What do you think? Let's do a randomly generated mug. Pattern. 6. Small dots. Oh, what color? 3. Red.
Red's in there.
First subject. 9. Animals. But what kind of animals? We have a few. Alright, 6 has been decided that if I roll a 6, I get to choose. 1. Black cats.
Cats are in here.
Alright, what's going with our black cats? 6. Bits and pieces. I just added new things to the bits and pieces box.
Let's go.
I have a plan. So for this design, I was running with the general universal known fact that a lot of cats are a-holes. And if you have something on a shelf, they're gonna knock it down. They tend to have a chaotic relationship with houseplants, from what I've heard. I don't know. I don't have cats or houseplants. I'm afraid the cats will break everything that I make, and houseplants, when they're given to me, just kind of die. So this mug is not relatable to me, though I do really enjoy the design concept, and I had fun painting on the little shelves and everything. The red dots, I didn't want to just use as a generic background like I normally would. And so I kind of just dotted them in various areas on the mug and used them as cat toys. Just here and there in a potted plant. Just tiny little pops of color around, you know? But I did include some footage of, at least sped up footage of the cleanup of the shelves and stuff. It's not as satisfying as regular speed, but I can't fit regular speed in situations like this, so I did a little of hand outlining to the shelves just to add a little bit more dimension and definition, and finished out those little cat toys that are dangling from the shelves. And there you go. Cat mom, plant mom mug, you know? Or cat dad. Or cat person, you know. Whoever. Whoever wants cats and plants. You do you.
Let's do another randomly generated mug. All right, what's our pattern for today? 1, stripes. What color stripes? 2, white.
Pretty straightforward, pretty basic, not bad, not bad, not bad. You here with the black ones.
Someone was kind enough to let me know that I had dinosaurs on my list twice, so thank you for that. I have fixed it. 2, alchemy. Okay, but which color? I missed. 1, we're going with black. What's going with? 1, mountains. Okay.
Not the most exciting thing in the world, but I can make it work.
So for this one, the stripes were gonna be the background. That was just the way it was gonna be. But I didn't want them to just be straight up and down. So I decided to make my life just real difficult, honestly. And so I did this almost like patchwork kind of stripey pattern. Just particularly busy and all over the place, but something to add some visual interest that wasn't just, ooh, stripes in the background. And I do actually like how they turned out. Little peeling section for you, always satisfying to watch. Oh, look at that. That's good stuff. I like that a lot. But yeah, just something to add some visual interest, and I liked the moths in the sky. I don't know what it is about these moth designs that I feel like they're such a good standalone image that fits well in a sky concept. I don't know. I like it the way it is, and I brought back the moons on the handle that I did the last time that I pulled the celestial moths. I'm not a big fan of repeating ideas for these videos, but come on, it's so good. I couldn't not do it. But yeah, little moon on the bottom. I'm a fan. I like how this turned out. This is good. And I will not be taking critiques, so fight me. Let's make a randomly generated mug. What's our pattern? 7 big dots. But what color? 2, white. Big polka dots in white. What subject? 13, spacemen. Spacemen. And what is going with our spacemen? 17, typewriter font. And the typewriter font does not have a box yet, because I don't know how I want to store it. Okay, this one is pretty straightforward, not gonna lie. I feel like I'm quickly becoming a person that just their default is adding stars and things to the background of their designs, but you know what? I really like them, so I'm not necessarily gonna complain about them. I think they look cute. But yeah, I used the big polka dots as planets and bigger stars, and I added in other stars with them. And at the end, you'll see what I used the typewriter font for. Actually, stick around all the way to the end, and you can hear my partner's reaction to this mug. Because I definitely put a really stupid joke on this mug. And I love it.
Go. Do you like it? Do you like it? It's time for another randomly generated mug. All right, what is our pattern of the day? 3, animal print. What kind of animal print? 2, scales. All right, what is going with our scales? 7, body parts.
Okay.
All right, and I'm hoping for something colorful. 17. Typewriter font is not colorful, but okay.
Satisfying that is.
That just means I'll add my own color. In the end, I didn't actually end up adding a bunch of color like I said I would. Ultimately, it just ended up being some black and some brown and some white. And it really became a project in freehanding something for me. I don't actually care for hand painting things onto pottery just because I don't feel that strongly in my painting and illustrating abilities, at least not on pottery. So this was very much a trust the process kind of situation for me. But I just decided that all of these bits and pieces were going to be in specimen kind of jars. Yeah, just the right amount of creepy, and I tried to make it not necessarily cartoony, but very, very illustrative rather than trying to be too realistic about things, because I knew if I tried to make things too realistic, I was going to be exceptionally disappointed in how things came out. So yeah, I am actually pretty happy with how this came out. I think it's, as with all creepy things that I make, I think it's cute. And of course, I went with lucky number 13. It's the weekend, which means no makeup. But you do still get a randomly generated mug. I'm just gonna start showing you guys the funny shit I have on my desk. Anyway, what pattern are we doing? 8 circles. And will they be black or white? They will be black.
Why does the pattern box have to be the bottom one? Circles. Black.
Alrighty, and our subject? 8. We're going to the spooky box, which we have 4. So, our little D4, which is so pretty. 4. Apothecary labels, which I only recently added to these lists.
Why does the freaking spooky box have to be the one on the bottom? Alright, got all our labels.
I do have black ones and white ones and red ones of various types, but I am going to choose whichever one I feel is going to work best because these are so specific. Alright, what else is going with them? 3 moons. Okay. Are we going with the Elon Transfer ones or the Sanbo Studio ones? Sanbo Studio.
Everything is perpetually on the bottom. Alright, there we go.
On today's episode of Claire is going to keep adding stars to every single mug she makes, apparently, we have this Witch's Brew mug. I chose the Witch's Brew label because I like the red with all of the black that we have going on, and I felt like it fit nicely with the moon theme, like a kind of space witch kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not super big into the witchy stuff, but I thought it worked pretty good, and I really love the shooting stars in particular. I think they look really nice. I did go with white this time rather than yellow because I just thought the white with the black and the red is just a classic great color combination, and I didn't want the yellow. I just felt like wasn't going to go with the red very well. But yeah, a spacey witch's brew mug, which I quite like. It's time for a randomly generated mug. Pattern of the day. 2 lace, but in black or white? White. What is going with it? 8. The spooky box. But what from the spooky box? We just did apothecary labels yesterday, but I guess we're doing them again. What else? 6. Bits and pieces.
That might work.
I truly never thought that I was going to end up using these feathers that I had floating around in the bits and pieces box, just because feather imagery is not really my thing. But I think that paired with the white lace and the crow's feet apothecary label, I feel like something is happening here. I don't know. Ooh, peeling content is good content. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about this design. I don't think it's bad, but I also don't think it's particularly exciting. But there you go. I made this. I'm at work early today, so I might as well give all of you a randomly generated mug early today as well. Why not? Pattern for today. 5. Plaid again. Okay, what kind of plaid? 3. We're going with red plaid.
It's in here somewhere.
What's going with the plaid? 5. UFOs.
I do believe UFOs are in this box.
What's going with our UFOs? 16. Mushrooms. This is very similar to something we've done before. This is gonna be a cop-out. Anyway, what kind of mushrooms? What kind of mushrooms? Where are they? They're up here. Listen, I'm gonna do something different. I promise. We're going with the realistic Sambo Studio ones.
I'm not gonna do mushroom spaceships again, I promise. But I might make spaceship mushrooms.
So in series 1, I got mushrooms and UFOs as well, and I made spaceships that were mushroom caps floating through space and abducting people. So with this one, I wanted to flip that around, and I'm doing mushrooms that have spaceships as their mushroom caps. And at first, it was just the idea I thought was cute, so why not? And it was different from the first time that I got these. But then as I was working on it, I had this like storyline in my head where aliens came from outer space, and either they were already very small or they were big and shrunk themselves down and then decided that they would hide themselves amongst the mushrooms so that us human peoples didn't realize they were there and they could gather information on us. So that's the thought process with this one. I think it's really cute. It might be a little bit of a cop-out, but it was an idea that I wanted to play with when I did the first one anyway, because I had cut apart so many mushrooms and had so many mushroom stalks. So there you go. There's my daily ramble for you. It's time for a randomly generated mug.
Today's random object is these little, like, eel cactuses. Look how cute they are.
All right, pattern for today.
6. Small box. But what color? 4. We're going for green.
It's going with the green dots.
Bugs. What kind of bugs? 1. Bees.
All right, what's going with our bees? Excuse you. Focus.
4. More bugs. That's not how any of this works.
I'm just kidding. What kind of other bugs?
2. Moths. Bees and moths.
So the whole beginning portion of this video is me just wasting a bunch of my own time. I cut out these stencils thinking I was being clever, and in reality I ended up just hand painting over them anyway because they looked terrible, just bad. In general, I don't feel comfortable with my skills when it comes to painting flowers. They just, from a structural standpoint, never have made much sense to me, and so I don't feel comfortable drawing them or painting them. But yeah, I hand painted them over and then wasted my own time again by trying to use the leaf stencil, which also didn't work, so that was fun. But I decided to use the polka dots just as a little added texture to the leaves. I thought that would be kind of cool looking, and I went with specifically a very almost cartoony way of painting these. And please don't mind the camera angle change. My phone died and then I had to plug it in, and so it needed to be where it ended up. But if you like this angle better, let me know. I can switch to it too. It's not a big deal for me. But yeah, very cartoony style flowers and leaves. I tend to lean more into the cartoon style when I don't feel comfortable painting something, especially on pottery, just because it can be very unforgiving. So yeah, bees and moths and flowers, and overall I think this is definitely a cute mug. And I put a bee in the bottom, so you can all be quiet about it. Overall, I'm not mad at how this came out. Very much more stylized than I'm used to. But yeah. It's time for another randomly generated mug.
Here's a painting I made in 2012. So, like, senior year of high school.
Okay, what's our pattern today?
7 big dots. What color? 4 green.
And what's going with?
8 spooky box. What from the spooky box? 1 haunted houses. And what else? 4 bugs. What kind of bugs? 5 the bug sheet.
Welcome to Haunted Houses 2, Electric Bugaloo. That was a stupid joke, you're welcome. So the thing about the haunted house transfers that I both like and dislike is they're very much a scene that you create. They make a full composed like image going on, And I find it more difficult to piece these together in a way other than just, I am going to make a haunted house scene, but this one has bugs in it. Because that's what I did. It's a haunted house scene, except that it's got giant bugs in it. I did have a backstory for this one too. This like swamp witch has her house, and she was getting, you know, harassed as one does from close-minded villagers. And so she cast a spell on all of the bugs in the area and made them grow super large, and they all protect her and keep her safe. And yeah, I like it. I think it's a cute idea. So, you're welcome for that. Dragonfly in the moonlight, anyone? You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. I love that caterpillar on the roof. So cute. Let's do a randomly generated mug. Pattern of the day. 1, stripes, but what color stripes are we going with? 4, we're going for green stripes. If either of these are dinosaurs, I'm gonna lose it. 6 is the bits and pieces box. Getting a lot of that this time.
I'm not bothered by this one so often because it is genuinely fun for me.
Okay, next one. 19. Hopefully that's that. Okay. I just think it's funny that I so often pull dinosaurs when the pattern that comes up is green. That's all. So green makeup. Anyway, are we going with live ones or dead ones? We're going with dead ones. Alright, what have we got? Feathers, camping equipment, a lot of house plants, some seashells, other stuff. Okay. Guys, hear me out. Rock and roll dinosaur skeletons with a laser light show. Because that's what you're getting here. That's definitely what you got. You're welcome, I think. This first attempt is me not knowing how to paint a microphone, so that was, yeah. Also, I definitely Googled the right way to do musical notes, because the last thing I wanted was music notes painted in the wrong way, facing in the wrong direction. But yeah, laser light show, you know, like everyone expects at every dinosaur skeleton rock show they go to. This is by far, this is going in the category of one of the weirder designs that I've come up with. Let's do a randomly generated mug. What is our pattern for today? 1, stripes. But what color stripes? Ooh, light blue.
I still don't know what color these turn out to in full, but I am excited.
Alright, what's going with? 14 skulls. 6 black skulls and bones. 2 clouds. But what color? White, I think. Is it white? So for this one, I wanted to use the skulls in a way that I wouldn't normally use, especially since this particular skull design does lend itself really well to being more of a background rather than a forefront kind of object. So I layered the clouds on top of the skull pattern and then wiped away the skull pattern around the clouds so that I could make storm clouds, but the stormy part of the clouds is actually the skulls and bones. If you look there, that cloud was upside down because when it comes to white and pink transfers, for whatever reason, I put them upside down a lot. I guess I can't quite tell visually sometimes the difference between the actual print side and non-print side, but whatever. Anyway, because they're storm clouds, I wanted to use the blue stripes as rain, and I hand painted on some really cheesy looking lightning bolts. But yeah, very, I don't know, this feels almost pop art, I guess. Very cartoony, but super cute, and some good peeling content here, which I'm a fan of. But the wiping away the design around the transfers actually worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. So I'm glad that I can kind of implement that technique later on. I think this is cute. I kind of hate those lightning bolts now that I look at them a second time though, but that's okay. Yo, I'm tired. But here's a randomly generated mug.
Someone asked to have a better look at my dice tower. It is Cthulhu. It's actually my partner's. I bought it for him for his birthday or our anniversary or something. And he painted it, so yeah. What's our pattern, big guy? 7 big dots. But what color? 5 orange. And are we gonna add circles? Yes or no? Yes, and black or white? Excuse you. We are going with white.
So we got those and we got those.
First subject. 16 mushrooms. What kind of mushrooms? The realistic Elon transfers. And what else? 14 skulls. What kind of skulls? 1 white.
I think I'm going to like this one.
So my thought process for this one while using the circles and the polka dots was almost like spore clusters around the heads of the mushrooms and the general just shapes of the mushrooms. Just to give kind of like an aura around them, I guess. I don't know. Words are not doing for me right now. But this took way longer than I thought it was going to because these circles and dots did not want to dry with any sort of urgency at all. And so this one took so long. But I do end up like how it came out. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Something about skulls and mushrooms, the decay and life and death of it all and yada yada yada. I like it. I think it ended up looking cool. So yeah, look at how many I used. That was a huge pile. But anyway, what do you think? I actually really like this. I think the orange is nice, but I feel like I would have liked green better. It's time for the last randomly generated mug of Series 2.
What is our pattern for today? 3 animal print. What kind of animal print? Pink cheetah again.
Alright, pink cheetah print is right here.
Alright, and what's our subject? 14 skulls. But what kind? white. I just did white yesterday though. Ugh.
White skulls here.
And what's going with our skulls? 9 animals. What kind of animals? 6 means that I get to pick. I get to pick!
And I have decided I want to go with black cats.
So I went with the black cats on this one because I liked the idea of the pink cheetah print and the black cats together. And I used the technique that I learned with the storm clouds recently and chose to use the cheetah print as a background only for the skulls, not for the whole mug. Since we're wrapping up this series, I wanted to mention that these mugs all need to dry now, and then they will be fired their first time. Then I will glaze them and then throw them through the kiln a second time, and then they'll be finished. Once they're finished, I will make a video showing all of the finished mugs off, and in that video I will tell you how and when you can find all of these mugs for sale. But yeah, I did actually end up going over the skulls a second time with another set of mugs just to really like thicken up that white layer because it was a little patchy this first round. So on the second bit right here is after I covered them a second time with another round of skulls, and I do like how it's a lot more solid now. Hey everyone, I just wanted to hop on here and announce that Randomly Generated Mugs Series 2 collection will be launching on my Etsy store this Friday, June 3rd at noon Eastern Standard Time. I am incredibly happy with how this collection came out. I had so much fun with different vibes and more hand painting than I used to do, and just all in all, I'm really happy with how everything came out. I actually have several this series that I wish I could keep for myself, but everyone will probably be happy to hear that I don't plan on keeping anything for myself. I will just remake certain ones for myself later, like the raccoon one at the beginning of this video. That is, I'm fairly certain, my all-time favorite mug that I've ever made, and I cannot wait to make a new one for myself. But anyway, let me know which ones are your favorite and hop over to my Instagram for more info.